Hello, my name is Yama and I'm going to be leading you through instructions on the basics of all the yoga poses, which is Tadasana, and all that Tadasana involves. Primarily, the feet and the legs, the arms and the hands. But in Tadasana, since we're contacting the ground with our feet, that's the most important place to focus and to be able to work. So stand with your feet, inner heels and inner big toes together. And look down at your feet for a moment and notice the shape of the foot. It's basically a rectangle. And the four corners of the rectangle would be the outer little toe, the inner big toe, the outer heel, and the inner heel. So think of those four corners and find them, which means going inward. It's not visual, it's just a sensing. And like you were staking a tent, stake those four corners down into the earth. Just keeping up with that, because the body is moving slightly, the balance is not static, it's moving, is quite a lot to do. And you basically are going to be coming back to this constantly, not only in this pose, but in every pose, whether your foot is touching the ground or not. You're going to be assimilating the foot into the ground, even though your foot may be reaching forward like this. So then from that outer little toe side of the foot on both feet, draw the line all the way back to the outer heel. On that outer side of the foot, Velcro that to the mat. And do the same on the inside, although you'll notice an arch. And that arch is not going to Velcro, it's going to lift. It's going to lift all the way through the inner leg. So just those instructions, let's be in the feet and be working in those areas where it's still not complete. Okay, and now I want you to bring your attention to behind your toes, this area of the foot, the ball of the foot, and from the inner big toe to the outer little toe, spread that ball of the foot. You may find your toes lifting, and that's okay. You also want to spread your toes and stretch them forward like you do with your fingers. So the hand is kind of an assimilated foot. And the back of the foot would be the heel right here on the foot. Think of it as a round disc and open that disc up and descend that disc down. So you want the heel to be, you want all of the foot to broaden and widen and lengthen and also descend. And all of this creates a root. And a root creates stability. As you root down, if I had a ball in my hand and I dropped it, the ball would bounce back up. That's exactly what happens when we press down. The energy rebounds up through our legs. So you want the thigh muscle to grip. The quadricep tightens and grips, and it gets energy from the downward action rebounding up. And then the thigh presses towards the wall or towards the hamstring, and this will open your groins. You want this joint to become open, lengthened. And as you do this work, it will change. It will start stretching and opening, which leads you into the pelvic and hip area. And in this pose, the pelvis is basically stable. It's not doing a lot in terms of opening or closing. It's open at the hip joint here. And then as you press down and the energy rises up through the legs and you work your quadriceps and lengthen your hamstrings, which will all happen as you practice, it will increase slowly and gradually but surely. You're going to lift the ribs away from the pelvis. So the side ribs, the front ribs, and the back ribs, all lifting. And then you'll start to notice this area of the body because it's between the two. So you want to be bringing the front of the body towards the back body, basically. You're not gripping your abdominals, but you are the spine is moving back, which means you will not have a big sway in your back, and your ribs and your abdomen and pelvis will not be coming forward. They will be going towards your spine, which creates a bit of a tucking of the lower tailbone. Not an extreme tucking, but a bit of a tucking. And at that point, you're going to become aware of the buttocks and you're going to squeeze. Okay, and then you continue up through the torso, lifting and opening the chest, opening the collarbone, smiling in the heart area like a big sunshine, a rays of the sun going out, which brings you in touch with your with these. So you want to bring them down. And as you bring them down and in towards the spine, that supports the opening of the chest. So the back body is pressing forward and down, and the chest is being supported by them. Just let the shoulders broaden away from one another and let the arms hang naturally. And you can do some stretching through the hands, but you don't want to be pulling down on the trapezius and the shoulder. You just want to let them hang and open. And then feel the head in line with your tailbone through the neck. And come back to your feet and start the process again. It's even though it's active, in between poses, it becomes a very centering pose and a very restful pose. So becoming centered is calming and restful, and that's what you'll be practicing in between poses. It creates a lot of quiet, and you'll notice the weight is not static, it's shifting. So you're busy because you don't want to lose balance. Feel the outer edges of your feet. Stretch the toes and spread them forward and apart. Find the quadriceps in relation to the feet, how they're working together. How the feet send the energy up the legs. And feel the stretch. I'm not standing here hanging out. There is stretch going on because I'm activating all those different places and things are moving and I'm watching it and I'm feeling it and it's very enjoyable. It's not always enjoyable the very first time, but it becomes something your body craves and asks for, and you start appreciating and receiving the energy, the beneficial energy. It's a very alive, good feeling to stretch. It's a relieving feeling. Okay, and then you're just going to release and walk. Just walk, let the legs bend gently, naturally, casually. It's a nice way of releasing the toes. Take a couple walks around your mat. Very good. Thank you for joining me for Tadasana, which is mountain pose. Mountain pose. Thank you. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.